Hello everybody and welcome inside the International Training and Research Center in Arlington, Texas. I'm Matt Lawson and this is Bowl TV Live. You are watching as we bring you the USBC Intercollegiate Team Championships Sectionals Assignment Show. It's a mouthful, but we've got a lot for you here as we get to it. We want to make sure that you're involved in the discussion, so join us on Facebook and Twitter. We are USBC on both platforms, very easy to find, and the conversation continues on Twitter using the hashtag USBCITC. So on Twitter, again, hashtag USBCITC on Twitter. And we want you to be using that as we go along here over the next month or two for all things collegiate bowling. Coming up here over the next half hour or so, we will reveal, of course, all of the sectional assignments, and we'll talk a bit about the top teams and players to watch at each of the tournament sites. We will hear from collegiate gurus Gary Brown and Lucas Wiseman for a little bit of analysis, and we will introduce you to some other tournaments that we have for you and programs that here at the International Bowling Campus we hope will enhance the bowling experience of all of our collegiate athletes. But you are here to see where everyone is going, and that starts with the power rankings. Let's start with the ladies, and it's U-Pike topping the list. Pikeville is number one, and no wonder. They have 5 bowlers averaging over 190. Wichita State is 2, with last year's runner-ups from Lindenwood 3. Robert Morris and Weber round out the top 5, then McKendree, Midland, and Newman. On the next page, we find the Wright State Raiders, Marian University out of Indianapolis, William Penn, Robert Morris from Peoria. Make sure you have a score sheet handy for all the Robert Morrising that will be going on today. Davenport, and they are the defending champs. The Lady Hawks of Maryland Eastern Shore ranked 14th going in this year. Notre Dame of Ohio and Viterbo round out the top 16. To the men's side, where it's Robert Morris leading the way, the Eagles won 3 Tier 1 titles between Thanksgiving and New Year's and tied for 3rd at last year's ITC. Randy Lightfoot's Lindenwood Lions are number 2, followed by Morehead State and William Penn, and the Wichita State Shockers, just 1 year removed from their three-peat, who finished tied for 3rd last year. There's Midland, Weber International, and Saginaw Valley State. 9 through 16 finds the Buffaloes from West Texas A&M. 2010 national runner-up Calumet College of St. Joseph is number 10, then Notre Dame, RIT, and the reigning national champs from Fresno State will attempt to defend their title with a 13th ranking this year. Wright State, St. Ambrose, and St. John's complete our list. All right, I'd like to introduce Gary Brown now, our Director of Collegiate and Youth Tournaments. It looks like another great field shaping up to see who's going to be the next national champion. But for those of us who don't know how it works, the power rankings we just looked at, how do we come up with those?
Well, each team is required to bowl a certain amount of tournaments a year. In order to qualify for postseason, they must bowl 3 events per season. Every event has a certain value based on the amount of teams that are in the event and where they finish in the position of the tournament. Tier 1 and Tier 2 events are valued at different amounts, and the Tier 1 events are valued at a higher amount.
All right, so now obviously the next step is we split all of these teams off into the sectionals. How do you make the decision of who goes where?
Well, we take the top 80 teams who are eligible on the men's side and the top 64 women's teams on the women's side based on their power rankings, and we divide them up accordingly. The policies for the tournament are that no more than 2 of the top 8 or 4 of the top 16 are required to be in a sectional location. This is the first year we've moved to 80 teams. We previously had 64 teams on the men's side, so we're excited to see a field continuing to grow.
All right, you ready to get to it?
Let's go.
All right, let's do it. It's time now to start revealing the sectional assignments for this year's Intercollegiate Team Championships. We begin in Smyrna, Tennessee, just outside Nashville, where the number 1 ranked team from Pikeville leads the charge. U-Pike has dominated over the last 2 months, including a win at the Nittany Lion Classic. They are 2-time national champions in 04 and 08. It would seem that in 2012 they just might be due again. Taking a look at the top half of the Smyrna sectional, McKendree and Wisconsin Whitewater both looking to return to the ITC with new head coaches this season. Wright State, Notre Dame, Florida State, Delaware State, and Ball State also headed to Tennessee. Moving on to the rest of the region, Martin Methodist, Grandview University, and Wisconsin-Milwaukee, the four-time national champs from Morehead State, looking for their first ITC title in over a decade. Ursuline out of Ohio, St. Catherine from Kentucky, and we wrap up this sectional with Florida, Ohio State, and Louisville. Let's take a look at some players to watch in Smyrna. Brandy Bronca from McKendree is the high average bowler here with 203.5, good for fourth in the nation. Kim Euless leads her Pikeville team after making both Junior Team USA and Team USA last year. Get ready for a lot of McKendree and Pikeville. Let's move over to the men's side, where it's Morehead State out of Kentucky as the top team. The Eagles won the Brunswick Collegiate in Atlanta this year and are longtime contenders, but are still looking for that first national title. Fighting with Morehead will be the Saginaw Valley Cardinals, led by Coach Dan Dorian in his 22nd season. Next is Notre Dame, Wright State, Florida State, McKendree, Pikeville, and Vincennes, the 1983 national champs, along with Louisville and Ohio State. The rest of the region brings Rock Valley College from Illinois, Martin Methodist out of Tennessee, Wisconsin-Milwaukee, Cumberland, Central Florida, NC State, a couple of Big Ten schools in Illinois and Indiana, Grandview from Iowa, and the last team in the field, the St. Catherine Patriots, the fourth team from Kentucky in Smyrna. Some players to watch on the men's side. Aaron Lorenz from Saginaw Valley paces the group with a 213.9 average. Notre Dame's Chris Vi is a current Junior Team USA member, and Mike Kahn is the 09 Junior Gold champion. All right, we'd like to welcome in Lucas Wiseman from our PR staff. Lucas, you have probably seen as much college bowling as anyone over the last few months. What strikes you from the Smyrna region? Yeah, I've spent a lot of time live streaming over the past couple of months, and Morehead State men really strike me as a team to watch. They're the top-ranked team in this region, and led by former Junior Gold winner Mike Kahn. They only had 2 wins this year, but 7 second-place finishes. So that shows you some consistency over the course of the season for that team. As for the women, obviously Pikeville, led by Kim Euless, a very strong player, former Team USA member, and one sleeper pick in the women's side. I think Wisconsin-Whitewater is a team to watch. They've advanced the past 2 years, and they improved their power ranking from number 24 last year to number 19 this year. So a big step up for Wisconsin-Whitewater. I definitely think they're a team to watch in this region. Gary, we were saying that we moved this to 80 teams on the men's side this year, and yet right there in this first sectional, we see teams ranked 81 and 82. So what happened there? Well, all of the teams are required to fill a required amount of documents out in order to qualify for sectionals, and if a team does not turn in those documents on time, they're not allowed to bowl into the postseason qualifications. So based on that, we had to eliminate a couple of teams on the men's side and a couple of teams on the women's side from the official power rankings for qualifying for sectionals. Fair enough. Well, for the second year in a row, folks, the International Training and Research Center here in Arlington will be holding the Bowling Combine for collegiate prospects. It's the best way for bowlers and coaches to get together, and last year it was a big success. It's a chance to make their mark. More than 70 college hopefuls packed into the International Training and Research Center this week. The goal? To impress the nearly 20 coaches who have come to assess their talent.
I definitely am learning a lot. It's just great to be able to actually see my speed and know for sure where exactly my ball exited the pattern and what my entry angle was. All of that's great. It's just great knowledge to have.
I thought that this was a great experience for everybody in high school, you know, that wants to bowl in college. It measures everything pretty much that goes on. This is going to make everybody so much better because they're going to know what they have to work on when they go home to get better.
There will certainly be enough data. The Bowling Combine for college prospects puts these kids through the paces, from athleticism to spare shooting, shot repetition to personality testing. The ITRC is a one-stop shop.
Well, I think the facility matters a lot because you're going to get collection of data from computer-aided tracking information for shot repeatability and speed control. Also having the videos and all of the stations, the pin setters that allow you to have specific setups on spares. I think that allows you to, when we see the data collection, we're going to get a good idea of the holistic picture, the whole complete. I think it's a great concept.
If they had it every other month, I'd probably be here every other month if I knew there were going to be different kids here, because this does allow us a big opportunity to see all these talented kids in one place under different conditions, where in other situations you go and you see them at one tournament and you can't turn around and go back out to another place to see them again. So I think this is awesome. This is a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for the coaches and for the athletes.
It's a chance for colleges to choose kids and for kids to choose a college. Both sides are looking for that right fit, and it may not necessarily be about who knocks down the most pins.
The number one thing we look for is potential. We're looking for somebody with strong academics as well as potential for bowling. Doesn't mean that they're great at the moment, but we're looking for key components that will lead them in the future with training to be the best that they could be.
And this is just the first combine at the ITRC. To find out more about future programs and how you can get involved, simply go to bowl.com/combine. I'm Matt Lawson in Arlington, Texas. And the new expanded combine will run August 7th through the 11th. Details to come on bowl.com. All right, we are down one sectional. We've got 3 left to go. Let's waste no time and get right on to the next one. Time to check out the teams in Allentown, PA. We begin with the number 3 ranked Lindenwood Lady Lions. ITC runners-up 2 of the last 3 years, looking to get back in the winner's circle after hoisting the Kerm-Helmer Cup back in '06. Lindenwood won the first 2 Tier 1 events this season. Who will they face in Allentown? Well, the 2010 champs from Weber International will look to find that magic again in the 3rd year of their program. Davenport out of Grand Rapids is here, as are the defending national champions from Maryland Eastern Shore, the only team ever to win the ITC and NCAA titles in the same season. Adrian, Briarcliff, Norfolk State, and Kutztown. Moving along to the rest of the region, Adelphi looks to continue what they started last year, finishing 3rd in the ITC, 34th in the power rankings this year. They were 38th last year, so watch out. Mohawk Valley from Utica, St. Francis of Pennsylvania, Herkimer County from New York, Urbana, Schenectady County, Youngstown State, Indiana Tech, and Long Island, the 4th NCAA Northeast Conference school trying their luck in Allentown. Players to keep your eye on include Kutztown's Kayla Jones, 2nd best average in the nation, Amanda Green from Junior Team USA, and Megan Buja from Maryland Eastern Shore is the Alberta E. Crow Star of Tomorrow Award winner. On the men's side, it is also Lindenwood as the top team, number 2 ranked after winning 2 Tier 1s since New Year's, including the season-ending Hoosier Classic. The Lions were 2005 national champs and leading the pack this year in Allentown. Weber International is there with them. Weber was the runner-up last year, losing to Fresno State on TV. RIT, St. John's, who bowled both sets of Tier 1 holiday events, very busy. The 1992 champs from William Patterson, Davenport from Michigan, Urbana out of Ohio, Hudson Valley, Briarcliff, and Stony Brook. Moving on to still more New York schools, 8 of the 20 are from the Empire State in this region. Schenectady County, Corning, Indiana Tech, Michigan State and Penn State, Canisius, Virginia Tech, Sacred Heart, Temple, and Penn State Berks round out the region. Guys to watch in Allentown, national average leader Jack Castellano out of Briarcliff. 230 is gaudy, and he won 6 tournaments. A pair of Lindenwood Lions are next, and Zach Wilkins and Ryan Sickler each won twice this year. All right, Gary and Lucas back with me now, and I guess let's start with you, Lucas. Thoughts on Allentown now that you've seen the sectional?
Yeah, the men's sectional here is probably the toughest. I guess you'd have to pick a sectional of death. This would be it. 7 of the top 20 men's teams are in this sectional, so definitely it looks on paper to be one of the toughest. The Lindenwood men and women, here's an interesting stat. Both teams finished in the top 5 in every single event they bowled in this year, which is a unbelievable stat. It probably made for some nice bus rides home, I would guess, from those long tournaments. A sleeper pick on the women's side, Norfolk State, led by Thea Aspiris, one of the top NCAA programs this year. I think they could be a factor on the women's side in this sectional.
Okay, so there you have it, the sectional of death, which I don't think was a reference to any of the pants that anyone might be wearing at these tournaments. Gary, both Lindenwood and Weber had regions that were closer to home. How did they end up in Pennsylvania?
Well, one of the difficult challenges that we have is that we have to choose the teams based on the rankings and split them up by, as mentioned before, 2 of the top 8 or 4 of the top 16 at each area. And based on that, some of the teams have to travel. And unfortunately, in this situation, in trying to even out the field as much as possible at that top 16 level, we had to send a couple of teams to a different region that was not as close as possible.
Okay. Yeah, as we see some of the players to watch as we go along here, we're seeing some people who've done very well in the Junior Gold tournament, and it is a new era coming up for Junior Gold. North Point is on board now to create an even bigger and, we hope, better experience with double the prize fund. So take a look at what's coming this year. The 2 largest youth scholarship tournaments in the nation have joined forces. The result? A $250,000 prize fund for the North Point Junior Gold Championships. And with no minimum average requirement and a new age division for bowlers 15 and under, the tournament is more inclusive than ever.
One of the big things that we've been trying to do is build more of a ladder system or a development system to get kids into our programming younger. So in combining the 2 tournaments, we also created another age group. Again, we're talking about these kids competing for $250,000 in scholarships. So it'll be at a high level. But the thing that I think is unique about it and really cool about it is they'll be able to progress through the program.
At the heart of the tournament is still Junior Team USA. The chance to bowl for your country is a major motivator, and the bigger pool of players can only add to the program's success.
The possibility or the potential to be a part of Junior Team USA was the #1 reason that they bowled the tournament, without a doubt. As long as we can maintain our current opportunities or expand those opportunities for the kids, this tournament is going to have an even bigger draw.
And with more bowlers starting younger than ever, the future is strong for the tournament and for the sport.
We feel pretty strongly that, again, we can grow the sport by teaching it, and that part of it's education. We want them to want to do better, and by opening up to everyone, we're including a group that we've never included before. But the experience, the fun, is why we're doing this. We want them to experience what we believe is the best singles event we have to offer, so that they'll choose to continue to do it longer and be here in our lifetime sport.
For more information on the North Point Junior Gold Championships, visit bowl.com/juniorgold. The North Point Junior Gold Championships take place in July in Indianapolis, and as you saw on your screen, you can find out more. Just go to bowl.com/juniorgold. All right, we are 2 down and 2 to go on these sectionals. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. Euless, Texas, between Dallas and Fort Worth, hosting a sectional again this year with the Lady Shockers from Wichita State atop the rankings. They're 9-time national champs, most recently in '09, and have won 4 Tier 1 events this season, including 3 in a row, coming up clutch when it counts. They'll bowl alongside Midland from Nebraska, Marion, Viterbo out of Wisconsin, West Texas A&M. The Lady Buffs are 6-time national champs, and Ashford out of Iowa. Only 13 teams in Euless, and the Fresno State Bulldogs, who were ITC runners-up in '99 and 2000, Baker out of Kansas, Stephen F. Austin, Louisiana Lafayette, Bethel out of Tennessee, and Southwestern Christian from Oklahoma finish us off. Any list of players to watch here has to start with Jazreel Tan. Jazzy is the reigning player of the year and led the nation in average this season. 2 junior teamers are here as well, Holly Harris and Kelsey Muther. The men's side also has Wichita on top. The Shockers are number 5 in the power rankings, finishing tied for 3rd at the ITC last year. USBC Hall of Famer Gordon Vatican leads his team for the 35th time. Wichita State has 10 national titles, the most ever. Midland brings their number 6 ranking up against the Shock. The Warriors won the collegiate shootout in Las Vegas over Christmas. West Texas A&M has a national title from 2000. The defending champs from Fresno are here, as is the 2004 champion team from Kansas. San Jose State, Marion, UC Davis, Arizona State, and the Aggies of Texas A&M in Euless as well. The back half of the sectional has North Texas, who can sleep in their own beds at this one, Viterbo, Arizona, 2008 ITC runner-up UNLV, Ashford, Weber State from Utah, Houston, Campbellsville, New Mexico, and the UCO Broncos. Taking a look at some of the top names in Euless, Jeffrey Young is a former Junior Team USA member and 2008 Junior Gold champion. Greg Gearing is the anchor at Fresno State, looking to repeat as national champs, and Joe Steiner is at Midland after transferring from Saginaw Valley. All right, so that is the Euless, Texas sectional, not too far from where we're standing right now. Lucas, what do you see here?
Another good sectional here. One team that stands out for me is Midland on the guys' side, led by a couple of solid players, Joe Steiner and new Junior Team USA member Tyler Cruz. He earned a spot on Junior Team USA at the Team USA trials just in January. So that's a team to watch, I think, in this sectional on the guys' side. For the women, of course, Wichita State is the team to beat here. They've had 6 wins this season. Jazreel Tan, once again, leading the way for them. And a sleeper pick, again on the women's side, I promise in the next section we'll have a sleeper on the guys' side, West Texas A&M. They've advanced to nationals 26 times. They've won 6 national titles, coached by Mark Scroggins. I really think that they've got a really good chance to advance here, even though they come in outside of the top 4 in the power rankings in this sectional.
Gary, if I looked at a map, Euless, Texas is kind of center of the country, and yet this is as far west as we're going. How do we choose these sectional assignment locations year to year?
Well, we usually sit down and analyze and see where most of our teams are at, Matt. One of the things we have to try and do is balance it out and find a place where people can travel to that's easy for them to get to, not very expensive for them to fly to, and have good hotel rates. One of the other things we have to do is find a center. I mean, a lot of centers are looking for business at this time, but what they're trying to do is trying to get that 160, 170 singles competitors on the lane. So we have to find at least a 40-lane center that's able to accommodate us for those 3 days.
Sure. Well, speaking of great tournaments, the Open Championships is underway at Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The USBC tournaments team just outdone themselves. We were out there, lucky enough to be out there not too long ago for the opening. Take a look now at a piece from our kickoff special that gives you a sneak peek inside the venue. Welcome to the Baton Rouge River Center. Inside this building, USBC has transformed 125,000 square feet into a state-of-the-art bowling facility and exhibit space. From the moment you walk in the doors, you're met with the great history of this event. From there, it's over to registration and on into the squad room. Let's walk down center aisle and take a look at this amazing bowling center. Before it's all over, bowlers here will have knocked down 100 million pins. But there are 4 more lanes upstairs, the showcase lanes, specially designated for coaching and practice. And be sure to stop by the Pelican Room right across from the showcase lanes for a beverage. Across from registration, there's the usual assortment of specialty vendors. And if your cell phone is in need of a charge, the folks at Nationwide have you covered. The USBC Sports Store is back and better than ever. A whole new line of tournament attire, sure to have something for everyone. And when you head back to the main level, you'll be in the heart of all of the ball booths. We'll take you inside to check those out in a few minutes. And be sure to visit Bowling Ball Express to ship your equipment home safely and hassle-free. The 2012 USBC Open Championships, a world-class venue for a world-class event. The Open Championships, no doubt a great place to challenge yourself, and there's some major prize money on the line, which doesn't hurt either. Entries close March 1st, and coincidentally, that is when we will start accepting entries for the 2013 tournament in Reno. You can go to bowl.com/tournaments to learn all about that. Okay, only one region left. Let's check it out as we take a look at our final sectional. Let's head to Fairview Heights, Illinois, just outside of St. Louis, where the ladies from Robert Morris are the top team. The Eagles won the Keystone Classic this year after finishing tied for third at last year's ITC. They take the number 4 power ranking into the sectional, where they will face off with Newman from Wichita. The Jets won the Hoosier Classic last weekend under the expert tutelage of Billy Murphy. William Penn and Robert Morris out of Peoria is next. Get ready, there's another one coming. Calumet, St. Ambrose, Purdue, and Northwestern Ohio on the top half. Moving down, we have Bellarmine, who made the ITC last year, hoping to make a return trip. Bowling Green, Clark, and Mount Mercy, both out of Iowa. Wisconsin Oshkosh, Minnesota State, Robert Morris of Lake County, confused yet, and Illinois State and Lindenwood Belleville wrapping things up in Fairview Heights. Let's check out some players to watch, and the password is Robert Morris. 4 of them from the top-ranked Eagles and 1 from Robert Morris of Peoria. And Brianne Underwood is wearing multiple hats here, helping out as a coach at William Penn. To the men's side, where it's Robert Morris atop the power rankings and atop this region. The Eagles have performed well at major tournaments this year and boast 3 of the top 20 individual averages in the country. We'll get to some of those names a bit later. Standing in their way will be the Statesmen from William Penn, who won the Midwest Collegiate in Milwaukee to get their year off to a great start. 2010 runners-up Calumet, St. Ambrose, Toledo, Newman, Wisconsin Whitewater, Purdue, Northwestern Ohio, and Wisconsin. The rest of the sectional has Minnesota State, Wisconsin Stout, Clark, Winona State, North Dakota State, Bowling Green, 2-time national champ Nebraska, Missouri Baptist, Lindenwood Belleville, and Western Illinois, who won 3 titles in a 4-year span between 99 and 02. And some names to keep an eye on. Freshman Marshall Kent is the Team USA Trials champion, earning spots on both teams and carrying a 216.5 average. He brings a couple of his Robert Morris teammates with him to the list, and Sean Rangel was intercollegiate singles runner-up in 2010. All right, guys, the last region. Feels like we just got started, but Lucas, what jumps out at you?
Well, obviously, Robert Morris on both the men's and the women's sides, the teams to beat in this sectional. But other teams on the men's to mention, William Penn. They finished either first or second in 7 of the 10 events they competed in this year. Also, Calumet. They didn't win a tournament this year, but they finished in the top 10 8 times, so pretty solid. As far as a sleeper pick on the men's side, we'll go with the Newman men, coached by Billy Murphy. They've advanced the past 3 years to sectionals, from sectionals to nationals. I think they'll do it again. On the women's side, the Newman women, another team to watch. They finished 6th in qualifying at the Hoosier Classic over the weekend, but then came through the bracket to win that tournament, which is important because, as we know, nationals is very much about the bracket format. So I think that'll bode well for the Newman women going into nationals.
And Gary, the Robert Morris men are the overall #1 seed, if we want to say that, or the #1 power ranking anyway. They get to play pretty close to home in St. Louis. Is that by design?
Yeah, one of the things when the committee sits down and analyzes the ranking system, we do believe that the team that has earned the right to season, who's first place, does deserve to be as close to home as possible. So we do look at that when the committee sits down, and if you're #1, you're almost guaranteed to be as close to home.
All right, so those are the 144 teams that are still alive for a national championship, and it will all end with the TV shows in Lincoln, Nebraska. Check it out.
Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Let's go.
And again, that is every Friday in May on CBS Sports Network on your cable stations. So enjoy that. 4 shows. We're very excited about it. We'd like to take a quick opportunity to thank everyone behind the scenes for all of their hard work, and Carl Nicolai at collegebowling.com for coming through huge on the stats for us on this one. Remember, there's still time to sign up for the Intercollegiate Singles Championship, which will be televised, of course, for the first time this year, as we've just told you. And winners will also get free entries into the Masters and the Queens. And last year's winner, Kyle Barnes, made made it all the way to match play at the Masters, so more reasons than ever to get involved in the Intercollegiate Singles Championships. Please remember again that the conversation continues on Twitter. It is hashtag USBCITC for all things college bowling. And also, please take a minute to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's how you're finding us here today. It is youtube.com/bowltv. If you click the little subscribe button on our channel, you'll be the first to know when a new video pops up or when we have a live streaming event that is about to take place. So you'll want to make sure you check out that. Well, we leave you with some of the best bowling from last year's ITCs. We want to wish everyone good luck this season, or at least what's left of it, and we hope to see you in Lincoln.